Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Daily Action Picks, and we've got our props edition right now. So I'm Joe Dellera, and this is going to be a fun one. I've got 3 of my favorite prop bets for today's NBA slate. So the first one that I'm looking at is I'm looking at Kyle Lowry over 10.5 points. He's gone over this point total in 7 of his last 10 games and 62% of the games on the season. And now he's getting the Pistons, who, they play at an average pace, but they have the 27th ranked adjusted defensive rating on the season. They're not a very good defensive team. They're not really a great team overall in general. But the thing here is that Lowry, he's starting to get back into the groove after missing a couple games for personal reasons. And he's cleared this, like I said, in 7 of his last 10 games. And the only misses are really those games that he first came back from. And Detroit has some of the worst point guard defense in the league. And as good as Cade Cunningham has been, this is a real opportunity for Kyle Lowry to take him to school. And I think that there's value on the original line at 10.5. If you can only get 11.5, that's okay too. And he's really gone over that in the same rate over his last 10 games anyway. But part of why I don't really mind with the difference between the 10.5 and the 11.5 is I want to look at some of his alternate lines as well. I like 15 plus points at plus 250 and 20 plus points at plus 870. In the 3 games he's played against the Pistons this season, he scored 15 points in each of those and 20 points in one of them. So the way I do this is I would split my wager with a full unit on the 10.5 and then a quarter and a tenth on the 15 plus and 20 plus. I think that Lowry is going to have a great game here. The next bet that I'm looking at is DeAndre Ayton over 17.5 points. He's just an efficiency monster. He doesn't need a lot of volume to be incredibly effective. And now he gets a matchup against the Pelicans, against whom he's already scored 20 points this season. And they're not the best in terms of their interior defense. So I think this is a good matchup for Ayton. He can attack from really everywhere on the floor. He's actually started to show this 3-pointer that, is kind of developed out of nowhere almost. And he's taken on an increased role without Chris Paul. So although the Pelicans, they have Jonas Valanciunas, their defense still is not very good. They're 18th in adjusted defensive rating on the season, and they get cooked on the interior. The Pelicans, they're allowing opposing teams to shoot 67.1% from the rim and 44.8% from short mid-range. These are bottom 4 marks in the league and an area that DeAndre Ayton thrives. So at 17.5 points, it's a number he's cleared in 7 of the last 10 games. This is absolutely a spot that I want to back Ayton to go over his points prop of 17.5 points. Finally, the last prop that I have is my boy Tyrese Haliburton over 16.5 points. I know that this is a little bit of a lower line for him, and we're getting this in part because we're not sure what Malcolm Brogdon's status is. He's dealing with a concussion. And, they're taking on the Grizzlies, who have one of the best defenses in the league. But the one thing here is that, although Haliburton averages less points with Brogdon, he's at 17.5 per game versus 21.4 without him. We're still not sure if he's going to play. We're not sure if he's going to be limited at all. And Haliburton's role in this offense is solidified. I just think that this line is too low. A lot of times we're worried about the Grizzlies' defense, like they've been very good on the season overall. I'm not really concerned about it. And this is part of why. He's gone over this line in 2 of 3 games against the Grizzlies, and he's hit this in 7 of his last 10 games as well. And additionally, the Grizzlies, it looks like Ja Morant isn't going to play. He's listed as doubtful for tonight's game. That's going to take off a huge burden from Haliburton, who normally would be tasked with defending Ja Morant. So he can focus more on the offensive side of the ball, and he doesn't have to expend that type of energy against the league's likely most improved player and, like a little bit of a dark horse MVP candidate in Ja Morant. So I think that this is going to be a great opportunity for Haliburton. I think that this line is just too low as we're overvaluing the Grizzlies' defense just a little bit, at least in regards to the point guard position. So for my 3 best bets in terms of props for today, I'm looking at Kyle Lowry over 10.5 points, and I'm looking at taking 15 plus and 20 plus. I'm looking at DeAndre Ayton over 17.5 points and Tyrese Haliburton over 16.5 points. So once again, my name is Joe Dellera. That's at Joe Dellera on Twitter and the Action Network app. Be sure to turn on my notifications. That way you get these bets as I put them in to get the best line value as possible. And tune in every day for more free daily action picks plus our props edition.